through my veins. On the pitch where the glory remains, the cockerel stands brave on the crest. North London pride, this ain't no jest. From lane to the new shining ground, echo chants where the legends are found. Heroes carved in the heart of time, we march on through grit and grime. Oh Tottenham, Tottenham till I die. Raise the banner, let it fly. Through the rain, through the fire, this is my club, my only desire. Oh Tottenham, Tottenham till I die. Raise the banner, let it fly. Through the rain, through the fire, this is my club, my only desire. Echoes of King and Greaves in the air. Every goal, the sound declares. Heartbeats pound like a drummer's song, marching forward, fierce and strong. We're the ones who rise in the clash. Numbers running in a white shirt dash. History burns in the roaring crowd. Every game we scream it loud. I'm Tottenham, Tottenham till I die. Raise the banner, let it fly. Through the rain, through the fire, this is my club, my only desire. We're the ones who rise in the clash. Numbers running in a white shirt dash. History burns in the roaring crowd. Every game we scream it loud. I'm Tottenham, Tottenham till I die. Raise the banner, let it fly. Through the rain, through the fire, this is my club, my only desire.
Good evening, everyone. Hello, and welcome to this edition of Newsbeat. I'm Big James. I'm your only host tonight, and I am live for the first time in a few days. News has been a little bit sparse on the ground regarding Tottenham. No transfers, and the current window is closed for the next week. So, what will we be doing? Well, we'll be discussing all the little tidbits of news, as I like to say, that have been circulating the media. A lot of it is transfer related because we've been linked to about 50 Brentford players. This is obviously because Thomas Frank coming in. We'll be discussing when do you think that announcement is going to be made regarding Thomas Frank. I thought it would have been today, maybe tomorrow. I would hope for the weekend, so he can meet the squad as they start to come back from their holidays, or the players that have been on holidays. So what's been happening? Well, not much, to say the truth. So we've been waiting on news on Thomas Frank. Like I said, I would have thought it would have been announced by Wednesday, by today. It's not been announced yet. I don't think there's anything holding up the deal. I think it's, like I said on Sunday late night when I broke the news that he is coming to Tottenham. I don't think there's anything untoward happening, like he's not going to be signing, or is the board have done a backpedal and they're going to go back looking again. I think this is just him wanting a bit of time to close down the office in Brentford before he comes over to Tottenham and starts his role there. And we'll just say hello to a few people in the chat. Boris is saying Sane is the biggest pussy around. Had a chance to return to the Prem, but now decided to fuck off to Turkey. Well, that's Sane for you. Always has been a bit of a wet lettuce, in my opinion. And Stu Boy says, "Good evening, mate. Good evening, Stu. Welcome to the show. Thanks very much for joining me on a rather pleasant Wednesday evening in Yorkshire. It's been a lovely day. Work's been horrendous, and we're still at it, giving you the latest information about what we've got. So let's just touch base on some transfer news that's been circulating. Certainly the Brian Mbeumo transfer to Manchester United seems to have hit a bit of a stumbling block, and whether or not that deal's going to go ahead is still yet to be seen. I haven't heard anything really coming out about it. I think probably what Mbeumo's going to do is probably just sit tight a little bit, see what happens with Frank, see if he can persuade the board to put a bid in for him and bring him over to Tottenham with him. I think it'd be a good acquisition for Spurs to come over to us and see what he can do with the big league, and obviously the big league being the Champions League. Yeah, Boris, Angel Gomez staying in France. Yeah, still kind of respect him for staying at a high level. Yeah, he has stayed at a high level, absolutely. But in my opinion, there's nothing higher than the Premier League in regards to league football. All the other leagues are sort of 1, 2, 3 in Germany, sort of clubs running it, and it's the same 3 in Spain as well, that sort of year in, year out. So he's not going to come back and want to challenge himself at the highest level when he can pick up a decent pay package in France and sit there and earn his money. It's all right. Come on, you Spurs. Absolutely, come on, you Spurs. I think it'll be a better season next season. It's got to be a better season next season. So what other transfer news is coming out with regards to Spurs? You'll have to bear with me because I have got them all written down. So if I'm looking away, just apologise. So one that's been circulating today, now again, this is just rumour at the moment, I'm not saying anything is been confirmed and anything like that, that these are actually deals in any way, shape or form. Mark Guehi has been linked again. Whether or not Thomas Frank coming in will give him a change of mind, and see if we can get him in again, though. Unless Romero leaves, I don't think he's going to come in. Certainly with the competition for places. And from the reports coming out of Tottenham is Daniel Levy is set to offer Christian Romero fresh terms and make him one of the best paid players at Tottenham. So that to me would be sort of on par with Sonny's 220 grand a week before tax. So that's about 180 grand a week. I know he's somewhere around that now. So whether or not they're looking at 2-3 extra years and maybe 250, which I think would certainly start opening the door to bigger wages being paid at Spurs. One other bit of interesting news coming out of Tottenham as well is the Australian mayor of Melbourne contacting Tottenham, asking them to perform a U-turn and rehire Ange Postecoglou. I mean, look, could you imagine the absolute uproar? And what would Ange think if that actually happened? And what would he think? He's going to think, no, you're all right, jog on. He's been touted for the Italian national team job, and why not? He's proved he's proved he's a winner. So if he wants to go there, by all means. There's been apparently another Premier League club circling. I don't know what Premier League club it could be. Could be Newcastle, because there has been rumours that Eddie Howe might be leaving Newcastle. I think they'd be stupid to get rid of Eddie Howe, to be fair. So yeah, that's a bit of interesting news that I've been reading. I find it laughable, to be fair. So a big up, Sean. Welcome to the show tonight, Sean. Dermo is back on the 16th, mate. He will be back on the 16th. Yeah, he is just literally chilling, enjoying his holiday. Yeah, I've been told Bentancur is being offered new terms on a new 4-year deal as well. I didn't know the valuation of what his per week contract is. I think we should be locking that down a little bit more personally, maybe 150, 160, to really get him tied up, Boris, to be fair. Yeah, Shawnee boy, you're absolutely right. It is a farce, and the mayor is definitely taking the piss for clicks. Yeah, I don't know. Everybody's going to have to change the philosophy at some point, Sean, but they do prefer a defensive-based team rather than an attacking front. So yeah, I don't know how it's like I say, it's just what's been rumoured, but he has been touted to on the Italian national team's radar. But yeah, like Boris says, we saw how that defensive based team worked against PSG 5-0. But we also saw that Ange could be defensive as well. The Eintracht Frankfurt game, the Bodo Glimt games, the Man United in the final of the Europa League games. He can play a defensive style rather than the gung ho attacking stuff that he was playing in the league for. That he did for us. So it is possible that he can change his style. Would he be a good fit for the Italians? I don't think he'd be a good fit for them, to be fair. So I really don't know on that one. I agree, though. Eddie Howe would have been gone if they didn't get the champs and win the Carabao Cup. Absolutely. It was sort of a mediocre season for Newcastle. They didn't really pull up any fences, did they? Yeah, I mean, I agree. If Ange had adapted into the Prem and played like he did in Europa, we would have finished 10th and he would still have been in a job. I completely agree. Completely 100% agree. And Sean Maddox agrees as well. I think what he did is he pressed the self-sabotage button a little bit with regards to the Premier League. He wanted that to play Ange ball and be known as a manager who sticks to his philosophy of playing his way. And when it wasn't working, he was like, well, we're not exactly going to go bouncing up the league now, so it doesn't really matter. We'll write that off and we'll try new things out in the Europa League. And we managed to get some good results in the Europa League, and obviously go on to win that. But like I think a lot of Spurs fans right now, is that joy and that initial excitement because of what's been going off at the club has sort of been ebbed away and pulled away from us a little bit, and sort of had the joy taken out of our first trophy in 17 years because of the absolutely farcical behaviour of what's going off at the club. I mean, Donna Cullen going, Scott Munn's job's on the line, Joanne Lang's job's on the line, Paratici coming back in, and Gabbiadini coming back. I think it's very good appointments bringing them back. But we know the kind of scouting network that Paratici's got, and I can foresee him being able to get some decent players. Again, though, it's just a waiting game because Paratici and Gabbiadini don't officially start till the 1st of July, and we're only currently on the 12th of June. So there's a lot of time between now and then. Do I believe that they'll be in communication with Daniel Levy and the board regarding the transfers that they think that should be brought into the club? Absolutely. It's just an official announcement that he's taken his job because of his worldwide football ban ending. So yeah, Boris, it does seem like that Scott Munn's already gone too. Yeah, absolutely. We broke that. I think that was March when we got the news regarding Scott Munn and Joanne Lang that their job was basically both untenable in regards to how piss poor our transfers have been. And to answer your question there, Sean Maddox, are you excited by Frank, and what are my general thoughts and expectations? Well, I don't want to be all doom and gloom, but my general thoughts is I see it as a sideward step. I don't see it as a progressive step. I see it as a bit of a sideways step. Now, people can disagree with me, but I do see it as a sideward step. His points per game in the Premier League is not that much better than Ange Postecoglou's points per game. I believe that Thomas Frank was 1.56 points per game, and Ange Postecoglou at the point of sacking was 1.51 points per game. Their goals scored, goals against were very, very similar. I think it was a +4 in the differentials on goals scored to goals conceded. And he'd not exactly been lighting up the Premier League with games won. Now, don't get me wrong, he's worked wonders at Brentford, working on a shoestring. I'll put my teeth back in. Working on a shoestring budget with the lowest wages in the Premier League. That's no mean feat to keep him where they're van and keep progressing year after year after year. I just find it disappointing with a lot of the big name managers that were available on a free transfer. I just think it could have been so much different. It could have been so much different. My general expectations for Frank, I would like a respectable showing in the Champions League. and by respectable, showing quarterfinals minimum. I'd like I'd like to say a domestic trophy, either Carabao Cup or FA Cup, and a top 6 finish in the Premier League, and then I will eat humble pie and say Frank's done a good job. If we can accomplish that, I think that will show progression, and then it will give us something to build on for the season after. But it's a question: is he going to be given time? Is he going to be given time? And is he going to be given the money? And is he going to be given the players? That and that is the be up and end of it all with regards to Tottenham. Is the manager going to be backed? Is he going to be given the players that he wants, not the players that Paratici, Lang, Munn think he wants? I mean, absolutely. It's going to be an hard season for us, and I do think it's going to take the team all pulling and all working hard for each other. But the one good thing that I am excited about Thomas Frank is his ability to take youngsters, nurture them, and bring them on and turn them into world-class players. Very much like what Brighton's sort of philosophy has been for years. Take young players, nurture them. But what I don't want to see happen is what's happened at Brighton and Brentford over the years is once these players have been nurtured and turned into quality players, that we then sell them on for substantial profit. I really don't want to see that happening. We've been known as a selling club for too many years, and I don't want that to continue to be the trend that we are still a selling club. We need to be holding on to our players and certainly turning the team and making them even better. No, Sean, look, I'm just saying I'm going on stats, purely on stats. Like I've just said, he's done a phenomenal job with the resources that he's got. I just hope that Tottenham being the next step, he's going to then be able to make the next step in his stats. And like I said, at the end of the season, if we've gone on a hell of a Champions League run, good cup runs, finished in top 6, I will sit and hold my hands up and say I got it wrong. He's been a good manager for us. Absolutely, absolutely will. Yeah, I agree, Boris. He really does have to take us to heights we've never seen before. I don't think that that's going to be next season. I think we've got to give him some continuity. I think he's got to be given time. He's got to be given time to build the team he wants to build at Tottenham. We've got a good group of young core players. We've got the likes of Mikey Moore, Jamie Donnelly, Alfie Dorrington, Will Lancashire. If rumours are to believe, we're currently negotiating with Bayern Munich over Tel coming back for another season-long loan with an obligation to buy somewhere in the region of about 30 million. So, look, will that be a good move for us? I think giving Tel some time to because he'll be used to playing different system, different manager, but he'll be used to playing in the English league. He may kick on a little bit. I'm hoping he does if we bring him back. 3 or 4 new signings, not including Tel or Danso, who we've obviously just signed. And I think we could be a force to reckon with. I think a new striker to subsidise Dominic Solanke. a new right back to help Porro. Left back, you sort of covered with Spence and Udogie. Another centre back. Things have gone a bit quiet on Jan Bissek from Inter Milan, and like I say, we're interested. We've started the whole Mark Guehi rumor again. Seems to be circulating, and yeah. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting, but I wouldn't expect any sort of transfer business until at least late June, personally. So yeah. Sean says quarterfinals with this squad, I will be happy with sixth in a cup run, but I don't think without proper investment can we expect that. I agree. We need to back him. We need to back him. Poch had the worst points per game in 6 games wins at Southampton manager. What in turn he had a better team than Frank has with Brentford now. Yeah, he did. You're right, Boris. He did, and then we all know what Poch did when he came to us. I mean, Christ, if Thomas Frank comes in and he's another Pochettino and takes us to dizzy nights, Champions League finals, challenging for Premiership year after year, again, I will eat the humble pie. I will bake it, fill it, and scruff it down. Big Dermo in the house. Big up, Dermo. I hope you're enjoying your holiday, buddy. Dermo says he's back Monday, guys. He also asked if Frank got the job. I did break that on Sunday, Dermo. You were obviously on holiday. I got the news that he'd agreed his contract. He'd signed his contract. We were just waiting on the dotting of the I's, crossing of the T's, and Brentford to accept the less than his release clause bid that we've put for him on Sunday is what I believe we'd sort of offered them 6 million, and his release clause is 10. Brentford said no, come back when you're going to offer us some proper money, and I believe it's somewhere in the region of about 8.5 to 9 million on the buyout of his contract. And you're very welcome. No problem. I do love doing videos on the show, so I've not got a problem in doing this. Boris says Frank has been given the here we go demo. It's just for finalising part now. I think it's just getting his staff taken from Brentford over the line. Yeah, I think that's all it is. That's just the sticking point. Sean Maddox says, Dermot, you lazy bum, lazing around, right when Baysack Ange, how's Mario? And he says you do deserve a break, and I hope it's going well, Dermot. No, I know you're not calling me out, Sean. I completely understand you're not calling me out. That was the stats that I had when we were first talking about Frank, and his name seemed to be circulating a lot. I'm very stat driven. I like my stats, and stats don't tell you everything. I 100% stats don't tell you everything. So I think it's just we've got to be patient, aren't we? We've got to be patient with him, and also be on the understanding that once again we're in rebuild stage and rebuild phase. So whereas with Ange, you would say we were sort of phase 2, moving to phase 3. Now we're back to phase 1 with Thomas Frank coming in. Boris says we need to give Frank a natural 6, not a makeshift 6, and not just Archie Gray, as he's a 6, but he's just so young. He is so young, Boris, but like we said, Thomas Frank has this knack of taking young, raw players and turning them to superstars. And I think Archie Gray has the tools to be able to do it. It's just someone showing him how to use those tools and how to get the best out of him. Yeah, I think patience will be massive, and I think European football and not being embarrassed in Champions League would be a good aim. Yeah, I agree, Sean. Like I say, if we got to round of 16 of the Champions League and we got knocked out, I'd be gutted, but I wouldn't call it a disaster. I really wouldn't call it a disaster. But I do think we need to be aiming for Champions League next season as well. Or even if we do go back into Europa League, then we'd certainly need to. I know it wouldn't be our crown then because somebody else would have won it in between, but then we need to be taking that back as well as doing a lot better in the league. So, for one, Sean also says, for one positive I have towards transfers is Levy tends to spend a reasonable amount in new managers' first season to get them one or two bigger players. Yeah, and from what I'm also hearing, Sean, is that ENIC have announced that they are going to be inputting a substantial amount of money. Now, whether or not this is coming all from ENIC or the partial takeover that has been rumbling along in the background is happening, and they're going to be investing some money as well as ENIC. That would be nice. So yeah, I don't know, but I would hope that Frank's given at least 250 million to spend this summer. I think we need it. I think it's going to need to take about that, and that will get us 2 or 3 decent players and good quality players as well. Not 18, 19-year-old kids for the future. And don't get me wrong, we've signed some good kids recently. I mean, Lucas Bergval's been a revelation. I think Archie Gray playing at centre-back and filling in at right-back was absolutely outstanding at times for someone of such a young age. And I think he did absolutely brilliant for playing as a centre-back and when that's not his natural position. So yeah, I think I think we could see a different Archie Gray next season, but I think we do need some experience and some good quality. Boris goes to say Frank was my third choice. The only two I wanted more over him was Jabit and Terzic, and Glasner was my fourth pick. So if it was going to be me, I wanted Xavi. I was a big advocate for Xavi when his name was linked to us. I was like, yes, that is the manager for us. We need to get him in and get it done quickly before somebody else jumps in. I would have said Terzic was a great manager, and I would have probably put him as my third pick. Inzaghi was more my second pick, and Glasner would be my fourth, and Frank was my fifth choice. So yeah, they were my choices of managers. I think the bulk of success is 2 years later with Bergval, Gray, and Sarr all matured. Yeah, I agree, Sean. I think you put two more years on all those players, and you're looking at some phenomenal players right there if they continue to develop as they're developing. And then you have the likes of Mikey Moore coming through, Jamie Dolan, like the players said, Jamie Donnelly, Will Lancashire, Alfie Dorrington, even Kinski then as well, who's still at this moment only 21, so a couple more years in him. He's 23, could be really challenging Vicario for starting position and starting time. So yeah, I think it is exciting. The future is exciting, but look, we can't always keep saying the future is exciting. We need something exciting now. Boris says that he can see 3 players going minimum, maybe 4. The 3 being Solomon, Richie, and Biss, and then maybe Son if we get a sizable offer between 50, 70 million. from Saudi. Now, I believe that Al Hilal, I think it was, did put a 35 or 40 million pound bid in for Son, and that has been rejected. And so I do think it's going to take something in that range, Boris, somewhere between the 50 to 70 million mark. Sean, what are you saying now? Currently, I think we are on the cusp between good enough to beat the Europa League teams, but not competing with the knockout stage in the Champions League. Yeah, I can get behind that sort of, but do you think that the squad looks weak because we were so exposed playing Ange ball in the league, and that made us look worse than what we actually were? Or do you think that the squad could be better than what it actually is, and we might make a few surprises? Because I think it's the latter. I think Ange sort of look. The players all said they were behind him. The players all said they were supporting him. So I think that given a different tactical approach from a different manager that's not so gung ho, I think we'll see this team go to a different level. In regards to, we're not going to be so open at the back. And I think it'll cut down on the injuries as well, because Mickey van der Ven's not going to be needing to be running 50, 60 yards every time we end up going into a defensive situation to cover, because he's been told he needs to push up and push up and push up and push up. And keeping him fit, keeping older Romero as well, letting them two really build next season, letting them two really develop that partnership, because when that partnership is on song, they are phenomenal together. You've got the speed and the technicals of Van der Ven, and the just pure brute force or no nonsense of Romero, and I think we complement each other well. Boris says, my source told me the age range we are going for are the ages of 23 to 27 of the main sector. I think that's a good age to be thinking, because if you get someone at 23, depending on where they play, so sort of 23, 24, if you're playing midfield, you're starting to come into your prime. 27, yeah, you're going to be looking I would think, more defenders and possibly attackers, because that's where they sort of start reaching their peaks. That's where I think their peaks are in regards to that. Sean agrees with you, Boris. He says, honestly, that range is fine if we bring in some quality, but this squad needs experience. Where would you strengthen then, Sean? What would you like to see strengthened in the squad in this summer window? Where would you like to see the players brought in for? Boris says, I see Gray 6, Bergvall 8, and Sarr as the next 10. Now, he tried Sarr out as a 10, and I don't think it worked. I think Sarr is so much better as a box-to-box rather than a out-and-out sort of number 10. I think if we bring somebody like Eze in, or Tellin, or another right winger, I think it then frees Kulusevski to be playing in the number 10 with Maddison. So I kind of understand it, but Sarr needs to improve on what he did last season, because I think it was a bit disappointing last season. Boris also goes on to say, Kinski in goalkeeper age, he would be the age of an 18-year-old out. 18-year-old out 18-year-old in an outfield player as goalkeepers prime in their 30s. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think he's shown me enough in the early stages of the games that he played when he came in January this year, and he sort of was thrown in the fire. He showed me enough in those few games that he played that there is the makings of a good goalkeeper in there. He's calm, he's cool, he's collected, and I think he can. We can go on to do great things with him if he sticks around. No, I agree, Sean. I think we were underperforming, and I do think we haven't got the tools to rotate effectively and to deal with the elite world class wingers and midfielders. Um, I agree. I don't think we do have the ability to rotate. So I think that's where we need to be looking at and looking at the world class players. Boris, yeah, it was under 50 million, and I agree, it's just not worth selling Sun because of the commercial revenue, the sales in South Korea. Although we do have the young Yang as well from South Korea, and I think keeping Sonny around with Yang being there sort of helps him settle a little bit more as well. If Yang is going to be sticking around this season, and or if he's sent out on loan. So I like I say, I can see the benefits of both sides. Benefit of some going is obviously the money, but the money has to be right. The benefit of him staying is there to support Yang if Yang doesn't go out on loan. Or even if he does go out on loan, he's still got the ability to talk to him and tell him about what's going off at Tottenham and give him that support of him being oh, excuse me, sorry, and I think we just have that. We have something there with Sonny, and he's a club legend, isn't he? Really, let's be honest, guys. He's a club legend. He really does take us and has been a stalwart of the club. And he's not been bothered about the money, and he's come out categorically and numerous times saying he doesn't play football for money. He plays football because he loves it. And he plays for Spurs because he loves Spurs. He loves the fans at Spurs. He loves the new ground. He did love the manager, obviously, Ange, because he came out with a bit of an emotional goodbye when Ange was sacked. So, yeah. I think that's a bit harsh. I think it's a bit harsh for sure. I don't think we'd have lost 10-0. 8, maybe. Not 10. So we're essentially fighting. Sorry, Boris, I should have put it up on the screen there. So Boris says, well, my source told me that Ange and his coach staff were essentially fighting with the medical teams due to how many injuries Ange's system caused, and they wanted to rush the players back. But I'm guessing you're going to say medical team didn't want to. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I've heard the same, but and I believe that's probably why a lot of the medical team were let go mid-season, because they just weren't giving the manager the answers he wanted. Excuse me again, guys. I do apologise. Again, I've been at work since 5 this morning, and I did a 17-hour shift yesterday, and I've done I think it was 14 hours today. It's like I've done crazy amount of hours in 2 days. It's just like ridiculous. Sean says he don't think our squad is bad. He just doesn't think it's balanced, and it has the solidity to battle top midfielders. I think Bentancur has the ability when Bentancur turns up and he does brings his A game. I think he's one of the best sort of central defensive midfielders in the Premier League right now. And I think if we can put someone next to him that he can trust to not just disappear in a game, then I think we've got the basis of something quite special. And I agree, Ange Ball wasn't sustainable, Sean. It absolutely was not sustainable. Once clubs figured out and how to exploit it, every club in the league did it. It was like they were all sharing the same videotape on this is how you beat Spurs, because that's how it seemed. Apart from the odd victory here and there. No, we don't. We don't have that anchor in midfield. Honestly, we didn't know how important Højbjerg was until he was gone. Yeah, I agree. He was a big player, and when you look back and you think Højbjerg, Bentancur, that was a strong midfield. But Højbjerg's not getting any younger, and getting £17 million for a player who would have technically now been in the last year of his contract. 32, I think Højbjerg is 31 or 32. I think it's decent money. I think it's decent money. Yeah, a top winger in an unloaded bunch of the surplus. Son can't be our starter. He isn't capable of playing 30 games a season. Well, we're going to be playing more than 30 games a season. No, I think we need to be bringing in certainly a left-sided midfielder, Sean, and keep Sonny as the impact sub who can come on for the last 30, 40 minutes of the game and tear it up and really put people to the sword. So, Voice also says, I'm honestly surprised no one by Chelsea has gone for the AC Milan keeper, as he's only going to cost £20-30 million for one of the best keepers in Europe. Yeah, I agree. It's that one is a bit of a shock, but you look at the Premier League and you look at the goalkeepers that are out there in the Premier League at the moment, and Liverpool. Is it Mamadashvili? They've just signed, or Mamadashvili, or they're looking at signing Mamadashvili, and then you've got Edison, you've got Allison, you've got Big Vic. Who else would you consider a top class goalkeeper? Martinelli. I think he's a solid goalkeeper as well. So unless you're looking for a new number one, which I know Chelsea are, you're not really going to go out and spend £20-30 million on a goalkeeper just for him to sit on your bench and not develop anymore. And the teams that really could do with him, he's probably got no interest in going to them because they don't offer what he probably wants in European football and big club recognition. And I know it shouldn't be about that, but come on, these are players. They all want big club recognition. They want to play at the highest level in the biggest competitions. And be recognised on the biggest stages. Yeah, he does. He is phenomenal. He just does need support around him. After the first 10 games, and when we went against Chelsea, that was the downfall of Ange Ball. Yeah, 9 men and still being all out attack. It's stupid. That was literally like throwing yourself on your sword. It was absolutely nonsense. I don't know. Jazz Fusion, big up Jazz. It says 2 years out from the league. Lolo should be better, but benefit from go back to double pivot. Yeah, I can see it, but we've got to move on. We've got to move on. Yeah, I agree, Sean. He is a great keeper, but we have so many holes. It's hard to spend on another keeper when you think Kinski will be class, and I think Kinski will be class as well. I really do. And yeah, Jazz back Donnarumma guy. PSG have got him. I don't think he's leaving PSG anytime soon. Why would you leave somewhere where you're going to be picking up trophies every year? And so I'll just while we're here, I don't have the video, guys, but I just want to say that this video is sponsored by Private Internet Access VPN. It is one of the best VPNs out on the market. They currently have an 85% sale on, so a 2-year deal would have cost you €45, but you can get 85% off that. And I will put a link up in the episode description. So if you guys are looking for a VPN so you can watch 3 o'clock kickoffs just to protect your data from it being stolen, and keep everything safe on your computers, on your phones, tablets, consoles, whatever it may be. Maybe you just want to see what's on American Netflix and see how the other half live. Private internet access is a great VPN service. I used to use a different VPN service. I'm not going to say them, but it's the one with the mountains. And look, a lot of people rave about it, but I just found it a little bit intrusive. Whereas with private internet access, I cancelled my other subscription and signed up with these. And I think it's a great service, and I would highly, highly recommend it. And like I say, at the moment, 85% off on a 2-year plan. You cannot go wrong at all. So I'll just touch on a little bit of transfer news and transfer rumours on some of the players that we are also looking at and what sort of money has been touted. So it's been announced that Daniel Levy has met with Antoine Semenyo's agents to discuss a possible transfer to Tottenham with a figure of approximately £70 million for the 25-year-old. Honestly, I think there's better out there, and he's a good winger. He is a good winger, but I think there's better out there. But he has got the Premier League experience, and that's always a big positive, I think. Another one that's just come out today, I don't give this one much credence, because it says Aston Villa, Newcastle and Tottenham are monitoring the developments with Jadon Sancho after the England winger's return to Manchester United following his loan spell at Chelsea. So 2-3 years ago, if you said we were gonna sign Jadon Sancho, I would have said, "Oh, that's amazing! That's a quality signing." I just think he's gone a bit off the boil recently, and he doesn't look like himself now. Whether or not that's because of the toxic environment that is Old Trafford at the moment, and the actual shitstorm that's going off, then that could be the reason why he sort of looks so distracted and piss poor. To be fair, he did okay at Chelsea, but he didn't really set the league on fire. Really, did he? When we look at it in the grand scheme of things. Another player who we was linked to in Jack Grealish. It's now been reported that Everton and Newcastle are leading the race to sign the English forward from Manchester City this season. What else have I got written down here? Just bear with me. Oh yeah, there's Alexi McAllister saying that there's no better defender than Christian Romero at the moment, and this one did make me laugh. This one made me laugh. Is this one? Former Manchester United star has insisted that it should be a no-brainer for Brian Mbeumo to reject the Red Devils' advances in favour of a switch to Tottenham. I mean, you'd have to be an idiot to want to join Man United at the minute. I mean, what Mateus Cunha is doing is going there. Is it because they're a bigger club than Wolves? You could argue that case. Does he think that this season was just a blip? Because Manchester United have been free fall for the last few years. Oh, big up Tequila. Big up, mate. Glad to see you got the stream up. Yeah. Managed to get Com to reactivate our old provider for me, so I could get a stream out tonight. I've been on nearly an hour now. God, it's just flying by. It's just flying by. No, I can't see him choosing Everton over us. Newcastle might be a different story. Yeah, it could be. Could very well be Tequila. I think it's a coin flip between us and Newcastle. I keep sliding down myself. I'm sorry, guys. 1 minute I'm well up, and then the next minute I slide down because I fidget in my seat. What was the other one? Just bear with me, guys, while I pull it. While I'm just searching through everything. Oh yeah. Johan Lang is actively trying to work to bring Kyle Walker-Peters back to the club. Look, if they brought him back, he'd be a squad player at best. He's not gonna really break into Porro, or he's not going to dislodge Porro from that right back position. So I could see him signing him, but is he going to want to come and sit on the bench? Yeah, I am tired. I'm very tired. This is what a 17-hour and a 14-hour shift will do for you, with about 5 hours in between. It's knocked me on my ass. We'll say. We'll put it that way. It really has, but that's by the by. One more shift to do, then I've got 3 off. A player who we were linked to in January in Rando Kolo Muani, and his potential move to Juventus seems to have hit a little bit of a stumbling block. Because as of right now, Juventus need to raise money to sign him. And they haven't been able to sell anybody of substantial. I do know that we are looking at Dusan Vlahovic, and about 25 million to 30 million pound has been quoted. It's gone a little bit quiet on that front at the moment. I've not really heard anything. But then again, I've not heard a lot about any transfers. And I think mainly this is purely because we're waiting on the new manager coming in. So, big up David Clark. Welcome to the show tonight, mate. Thank you very much for joining me. Have I watched the Sky Sports Premier EA Sports FC Thomas Frank coaching masterclass called Inside the Mind? It was brilliant. No, but I will have a watch. I'm not going to say it's going to be tonight, David, because I'm probably going to finish this and I'm probably going to go. So no, I haven't seen it, but I will write that down and I will give that a watch, definitely. So yeah, there's not really been anything, and again, it's just a lot of rumor. We're going after this player, we're going after that player. There's nothing really substantial about it. A lot of it is I looked up Premier transfers tonight, and it shows Vikovic had signed. Vikovic? You mean Vloskovic? The young kid that we signed last summer, and David, and that he's now able to join us because of his age. Let me have a look. Is that who you mean? Vlaskovic? Just bear with me, guys. Sorry, it's hard when you're on your own. To talk and read. Yeah, there's pictures of Daniel Levy leaving the training ground as well. Does this mean Thomas Frank's appointment as manager is getting nearer? What, just because he's leaving the training ground? I don't understand that. Again, I just think that's it's a little bit of clickbaity sort of stuff of them. I looked up the complete list of Premier League teams, ins and outs in this window, and yes, I meant who you just said. Yeah, he's officially joined us. His loan has ended, and he's officially joined us because we signed him on. I think we signed him the same time that we signed Bergval, but because of his age, he couldn't leave until he turned 18, because I believe he was only 17, and now he's turned 18. He's able to leave and join hook up. Sounds like he's meeting for a romantic encounter. He's now able to join Tottenham himself as a full player, but it's not I hate it when Sky Sports do that. They did it with Danso. Oh, we've signed we transfer confirmed and we've signed Danso like it's a new like it's a new player. He was already on loan. When you announced it back in January, it was a loan with an obligation. So why is it a shock that now is signed permanently? So he may go out on loan for another year, and they may loan him out for another year. But given the need for centre backs, with Dragusin potentially leaving to go to Inter Milan, yes, we've still got Ben Davies kicking around because we've activated his 1 year contract extension, which I thought was a bit poorly done, to be fair. And I actually felt for Ben Davies in regards to that. I thought the club handled it quite badly. Now, again, that may have been Ange may have been turning around and saying, I don't want his contract renewal. I don't want his contract renewed. He doesn't fit my plans. He doesn't fit my plans. And then Thomas Frank's come in and they've asked him to have a look at the players whose contracts are expiring with the option to extend. And he's looked at Ben Davies and thought, yeah, I want him sticking around. Please activate that extension. Although there is still rumour that Wrexham are now trying to put a financial package to buy him. Whether or not that happens is anybody's guess. But we're about the hour and 5 minute mark, guys. Now, yes, yeah. He has. He's been given a 1 year extension. I was going to go live with it and break it. I believe that happened on Monday. Let me just double check it because I put it into our WhatsApp group chat that we have. The Davis had signed his extension, so just bear with me, guys. Again, I'm just looking on my phone when I actually posted it. So it's there. What date? Sunday. So yeah. The news read that Ben Davies has had a Tottenham have exercised the right to extend Ben Davies's contract by a year, as he had an optional 1 year extension in his contract. Spurs have activated this right. Davies will stay with us for 1 more year. So yeah, he is contracted to us now until the summer of 2026, when his contract will expire then. Wrexham, like I say, are still credited with interest in him, and look, if Wrexham come in with £5-10 million for him, I think they should take it. I really do. I think it'd be silly not to. And then you reinvest that money elsewhere. But guys, I'm going to leave it there for tonight. Thank you very much for joining me. As soon as I get it confirmed that Thomas Frank is official, now I know I broke it on Sunday night that he has signed his contract and he is coming to join Spurs. We're now just waiting the official announcement, and we believe that it's just for his backroom staff getting them released from their contracts, which is holding things up. So yeah, as soon as I get anything official, the official announcement, because don't forget, we are the #1 breaking news channel on YouTube when it comes to Tottenham Hotspur. Stick around and I will make sure that you all get the information as soon as humanly possible. But thank you very much for the 25-30 people that have joined me tonight. I know it's just been me rambling on for an hour. I hope some of the information I've given you hasn't bored you to death. It was good chatting with you all in the chat. Please do like, subscribe, pick up your memberships as we try and get up to 3K at the moment, and we're hoping to get up to 5K by the end of next season. That would be something amazing. I like to say myself, all the guys behind the scenes, we all work incredibly hard. We all do this out of his free time. We'd love to be able to do this full time and give you all the news, everything, and become the biggest Tottenham news channel on YouTube. And put Chris Cowell to some shame as well, because I tell you what, he's so slow to the party sometimes. He really is. He was saying that, I think it was on Tuesday, he was breaking news that Thomas Frank has signed his contract. I was like, get on that. And I was like, Chris, you're a bit slow to this. I broke that on Sunday, mate. Catch up. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, thank you very much for joining me, guys. Please like and subscribe. Pick up your private internet access VPN subscription. Like I say, still it's got the 85% off on the 2-year plan. And thank you very much. Any more news, I will try and get back on. Maybe on Friday, if anything hasn't broken, just to give you a little update. If anything does break in the meantime, of course, I will be back. Dermo is back on Monday, and that will be good to have him back. So it's not just me rambling on, and I know you guys love Dermot. So yeah, thank you very much. Have a pleasant evening. Have a good night, and come on, you Spurs.